video we're going to run through the reports feature in QuickBooks Online. Here we are on the dashboard. To access the reports then, all we do is we move to the left hand side of the screen and click on the reports button. Once loaded up, then we're presented with 3 tabs across the top. We're going to work through these throughout the video, so I'm just going to start on the standard tab for the time being. The first section that we're hit with is favourites. So because there are so many reports in QuickBooks, having this favourites section really makes your life that little bit easier when you're running reports, many times a month or a year or whatever. So starring a report by simply clicking on one of the stars at the side of a favourite report will just add it to your favourites section. And it just makes it that little bit quicker to get hold of instead of struggling through the long list of reports that QuickBooks offers. So scrolling down, I'll just give you a little brief overview of what each section does. So the first one then is business overview. These are typically reports that you will use more to do with like management meetings or month-end meetings, things like that, where you want to see how the business is performing, its current financial position, in order to make those decisions about moving forward. Balance sheet being a very obvious one there, and profit and loss. As you can see, these two have already been favorited, and by default they typically are anyway, just because they're so important. Moving on then, we're presented with who owes you money. Again, by default, QuickBooks stars this particular report, the accounts receivable aging summary. What that does is it shows you who owes you money at a particular date, and how long they've owed you the money for. So if you raise a sales invoice, say on the 1st of January and it's now June, that amount for that invoice will appear in the older column. And it's a really useful report to look at to see, actually, we've only got so many hours in the day to chase our customers to pay their bills. So let's concentrate on the really older invoices for the time being. And then when we get a little bit more time, we can move to the sort of newer ones. So moving on down, we've got sales and customers. So a number of reports here that allow you to access customer information or details about sales per customer, how many sales have been made, etc. That kind of thing. So again, quite useful for the sales part of your business. Similarly with who owes you money, we then have a section called what you owe. So instead of chasing your customers' debts, we have reports here that show you actually these are all the invoices that you still have to pay, and they fall into 30 days, 60 days, etc. So it really gives you that little bit of help to manage cash flow if you run some of these reports. I know a lot of businesses that I work for, they live by this particular report here. So I'm just going to click on the favorite button to move that up to the favorite section at the top. A couple of other sections then, expenses and suppliers, manage VAT, and employee records. Before we move on past VAT, for this particular client that we're setting up here, I'm going to find the VAT return quite a useful report. So I'm just going to highlight that one as well whilst we're down here, because what this report does is it just gives us the quarterly VAT return that we have to submit to HMRC. So I'm going to be using this every 3 months. So I'm just going to favourite for them. And then at the bottom we've got My Accountant reports. So another useful report that you could give us is your trial balance. So while we're here, let's star that one. So if we go back to the top, hopefully we've got a few extra reports in the favourites, and we have. And it just means that we can get to these reports that we find useful just that little bit quicker. So moving on to the second tab then is the custom reports. Now, with this being a new account, a demo account, there's nothing in here at present. But what would be in here is if, for example, we chose a report from the standard tab, ran that report, and tweaked a few of the columns of information. So let's say we added a customer detail column or a payment method column, something like that. And we said, actually, we're going to use that going forward quite a number of times. So let's save that as a custom report. And we'll just see them custom reports in here then. So you don't have to worry about editing reports and having to re-edit them every single time you want to run that particular report that you want. Custom reports is a great section in QuickBooks. And then finally, management reports. this final tab is interested in consolidating a number of different types of reports together. So instead of saying, oh, it's our month end, we need a profit and loss, we need a balance sheet, an age receivables, etc. What we can do is we can create a pack of reports and we can print them or email them. So for example, the one that we've got here is a customer overview management report. If I click on the menu item at the right hand side, there are a number of things that we can do with this. Just for now, I'm going to export as a PDF just to show you what this is. What that's going to do is it's going to go and grab I think it's 2 or 3 different reports and add them all together and brand them up with your company information. So as you can see at the bottom, it started downloading it. I'm just going to click open. So open up on a new tab. And then what we've seen is a nice branded cover sheet, management report for the date that we chose, what today's date is, contents page. So this particular template has only got a profit and loss and a balance sheet, but you can add as many as you like. If we scroll down a bit more, so we have the profit and loss here, and scroll down to the last page, which is balance sheet. And it's not just about printing these; it's about saving time, and you can have these automated as well. So if you got to the middle of the month and you're right, that's all the management information adjustments that we put through, these reports can just be emailed to the various department managers as and when you see fit. So I'm just going to close that and just show you the menu item again, which is to send or export as docx or copy, etc. So quite a fast video, but hopefully it's given you a flavour of the kind of things that QuickBooks Online can do and the reports that it offers. Thanks for watching.